Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tropicana, where today we bring you more AWA Championship Wrestling. Tonight we're going to have a major announcement from Sgt Slaughter, so you'll want to stick around and find out what is on the mind of America's favorite military man. All right, Sgt Slaughter is here. Slaughter making his way to the arena. And we will not have to wait much longer to find out what's on the mind of Sgt Slaughter.
I have an announcement to make. To all of you pukes representing the Allied powers, I'm talking to you, Sgt Not Al Casey. I'm talking to you, Baron von Raschke. And I'm especially talking to you, Borisukov. I told everyone that I was gonna be creating the Cobra Corps. And after looking around, I found the first inductee. And tonight, we are gonna begin waging our war on you. I want all three of you in the ring to take on Sgt Slaughter and the first recruit. The Cobra Corps is going to settle a score with all of you Allied pukes. Make no mistake about it. Sgt Slaughter and all who stand opposed, we are ready to fight. America does not run. And tonight, you're gonna taste the red, white, and blue. You're dismissed.
Sgt Slaughter. Sgt Slaughter with some big words. And we're going to see what happens. And apparently we're not going to have to wait very long. Fans, stay with us. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to the Tropicana, and we just heard from Sgt Slaughter, and now he's ready. We are going to find out who the first inductee is here in the Cobra Corps, and I can tell you right now, I have no idea, but I am excited to find out, as are the fans here in attendance. Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to be finding out very soon exactly who it is. Slaughter coming out by himself, but we know he's not here alone. It's just a question of who has he chose to be his tag team partner and the first inductee into the Cobra Corps. Well, indeed, fans, we are going to be finding out momentarily, and we remind everyone we are 1 week away from the AWA Supercard that is Wrestle Rock. Right here live on the Nation Network in a week's time. Well, the folks in Chicago sold that place out in hours. And here we go. That's Scott Hall. Big Scott Hall is the first inductee into the Cobra Corps. Well, you know what? He couldn't have made a much better choice. 1 week ago, we saw Scott Hall get a victory over the Allied Forces, I beg your pardon, and I'm not willing to doubt that Sgt Slaughter saw that and decided, hey, let me go talk to this guy and see if he'd be willing to become a recruit. Well, the fans definitely approve of this decision. Big Scott Hall is the first inductee into the Cobra Corps. Well, if I'm a member of the Allied Powers right now, I don't feel very confident. And tonight there'll be no outside interference because Sgt Slaughter has all three of them standing opposed. He said tonight the war begins. Well, here comes the opposition, and they've got to be a little taken aback right now. They didn't know who it was going to be either, and then all of a sudden Scott Hall comes marching down to the ring. Well, we get a look right now, Cheek, at on LKC. And clearly, as he stands alongside his men, to look at their faces, you would not know what they're thinking, but I've got to believe they are a little stunned to see Scott Hall is going to be the man facing the Allied Powers here tonight. Baron Von Reschke and Boris Zukov definitely have very stoic looks on their faces here tonight as they make their way to the ring. And Cheek heading on out, KC, as usual, he's pulling up the rear. Well, you're right, as you say, as usual. He doesn't like to get his hands dirty. He likes to direct traffic, but tonight he won't be able to do that. Tonight he's an active member of the match, and he's going to have opportunity to not only administer some punishment, but probably be on the receiving end of quite a bit as well. No doubt about that. You know Sgt Slaughter has been waiting for this opportunity. We want to welcome all of you here in the Nation Network watching us live. AWA Championship Wrestling at its finest. Sgt Slaughter kicks things off, and he's going one-on-one with Baron Von Reschke, putting the boots to him. Well, we knew Sgt Slaughter was going to waste no time whatsoever. He's got his tag team partner now, and he is going to town on Baron Von Reschke. Overhand right stuns the big Baron. There's the tag made, and now Scott Hall drops the elbow right to the back. Scott Hall choking out Baron Von Reschke. Well, there are no rules when it comes to war, and Von Reschke, as the one who has taught, look at this, raking the eyes. Scott Hall tried to follow him into the corner, but Von Reschke just a little too quick for him there. Now got the spinning toe hold, working over the ankle and the knee of Scott Hall. Well, Sgt Slaughter and the Cobra Corps taking their first taste of adversity. We'll see how they respond as Von Reschke does a great job of moving his opponent towards his corner and now making the tag. Boris Zukov right now just sizing up the situation. I'll tell you right now, the Allied Power's not at all happy with the way things are, and they're making it known. Big headbutt. Scott Hall in trouble. Back body drop, and Scott Hall again on the receiving end. But he fights his way back up from his knee. And now, let's see, look at this big Scott Hall hammering away. Rakes the back, follows up with a huge clothesline. Sgt Slaughter watching from the apron, and now he is definitely approving of what he sees. There's the tag made, and here comes the double team. Sgt Slaughter is in the ring. Drop toe hold, big elbow right to the back. Well, early on, I would have to say Sgt Slaughter must be happy with his choice. Scott Hall definitely carrying his own weight in this one. Zukov desperately trying to make the tag. Clothesline by Slaughter, and down he goes again. Shikanon, LKC is there ringside. It looked like he was trying to make the tag, but don't let him fool you. I don't think he wants anything to do with getting in the ring with Sgt Slaughter. Not now, not ever. Well, Slaughter in trouble now. Ran headfirst into the turnbuckle, but he reversed out of that perfectly. There's the Irish whip into the corner. He goes, Slaughter. Oh, I thought for a moment we were going to see the Slaughter cannon, but not yet. Instead, here comes the Patriot Missile. He really nailed him with that one. Scott Hall tries to get between Boris Zukov and the tag. Couldn't do it. Baron Von Reschke's on the receiving end, and now Scott Hall really paying out some punishment to Baron Von Reschke. Von Reschke returns the favor with an arm drag. No, look at this, nobody's home. Belly to belly suplex. Baron Von Reschke's in trouble, and now Scott Hall goes for the cover, gets one. Well, that was the first good opportunity, I would say, of the night for a pinfall, and it didn't happen. Puts a boot to the face, and now Scott Hall. There's a clothesline. Well, you know, Sgt Slaughter said he put him through boot camp, and he's come out the other side. Now, look at this, up in the air with that big choke slam. This is the beginning of the end. It may very well be. We're going to find out. Went for the cannon clothesline, and Von Reschke ducked it out. Once again, tag made, and now he's not going to do this. Patriot Missile with Sgt Slaughter. Von Reschke was trying desperately to make the tag. Slaughter cuts him off, goes for the cover. He gets two. That was very close. The missile landed right on its target. And at this point in time, it is all Cobra Corps. And we still have not seen Shikanon LKC into this match as of yet. Sgt Slaughter has got him and now whips him hard into the turnbuckle. Baron Von Reschke all the way bouncing back towards the middle of the ring, and now it's out to the floor. This one has spilled outside. Well, Von Reschke just sending Sgt Slaughter up the aisle. Back towards the entrance here in the Tropicana. And now he sends him back into the ring. They will fight inside, outside, anywhere if you let them. Slaughter blocks the left. Comes back with a series of his own. And now Von Reschke's in trouble. He's got him in. Oh, he had him right there. He had him in the Cobra clutch, but he was too close to the ropes, and Von Reschke able to survive that. Sgt Slaughter has got the steel steps. What's he going to do? He'll get disqualified. Well, he would get disqualified if he uses them. He's got Von Reschke up. He's holding him up in the air way too long. Von Reschke fighting his way back down. It looked like he was trying to powerbomb him on those steps, but it didn't happen. And now they fight their way back up the ramp. Down again goes Baron Von Reschke. Sgt Slaughter putting the boots to him. The referee has counted both men out. We will have to do this another day. Fans, we'll be back in just a moment. All right, everybody, we are back and more wrestling action coming your way. Mike Rotundo here in the AWA, making his way down the ring. Well, Mike Rotundo, he comes with one heck of a list of credentials, and he's a free agent, as they refer to here in the sporting world. We've seen him in Championship Wrestling from Florida. We've seen him in the NWA, and now he's making a stop here in the AWA to test the waters. There will be plenty, and I mean plenty, of opportunities for him here. Some of the greatest wrestling talent anywhere in the world right here in the AWA, and Mike Rotundo is now part of it. All right, his opponent is making his debut here in the AWA as well on the Nation Network, and he's no stranger. This is Jimmy Garvin. Well, he's gone by the name of Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. He also goes by the name of Jimmy Jam Garvin. So, one way or another, Jimmy Garvin here in the AWA for the first time on the Nation Network. It is going to be very interesting to see how these two men match up here tonight as they both make their AWA debuts. Bell sounds, action's underway. They meet in the middle of the ring, and Jimmy Garvin wasting no time at all, going with the inverted atomic knee drop, and down goes Rotundo. Jimmy Garvin is definitely not above the bending and breaking of the rules. We've seen that on time and time again in his career. Of course, spending the majority of that time in the NWA, but he's here in the AWA now. Well, indeed, Jimmy Garvin, former world champion in the NWA here on the Nation Network. He brings quite the credentials with him as he enters the AWA, and we will see exactly how he does in his opening match. He didn't take on a job squad match. Mike Rotundo, a champion in his own right, tag team specialist with the likes of Barry Windham. Well, at one time he even teamed up very successfully with Ted DiBiase. Indeed he did. Now it is Jimmy Garvin again with Mike Rotundo up, down across the knee with a backbreaker. That's going to do some damage. Jimmy Garvin now to the middle rope. He comes off, drives the elbow down into the... I'm not sure if he got him in the face with that. It looks like he did. I thought it was the chest, but now it may have been closer to the jaw. Jimmy Garvin, though, making the mistake by acknowledging the fans at ringside and taunting them while Mike Rotundo recuperates. Yeah, Jimmy Garvin's got to be a smarter wrestler if he's going to go up against somebody like Mike Rotundo. You don't want to be playing those kind of games. You don't have time for those kind of games, and that's a big mistake in my opinion. Now Mike Rotundo getting his second win, and he drops Jimmy Garvin on the back of his head. Measures him with an elbow, the point of the elbow right to the head, and now Jimmy Garvin in trouble. Takes a few more of those, and he'll have to get rid of the moniker Gorgeous. And now look at this, more action spilling out onto the floor. We saw that in our earlier contest. Let's see what happens in this one. Garvin now ran into the steel guardrail, but he beats Mike Rotundo with a knee to the midsection, and now a big knee lift. Shades of Mr. Wrestling, too, right there with that $1 million knee lift, and Mike Rotundo is floored. Jimmy Garvin has got Rotundo up. He caught, back body drop, and down goes Jimmy Garvin on the concrete floor. There is no give out here on the concrete. Referee's count makes it up to 7, but both men will beat the count back in the ring. Hooks the leg, and now Rotundo looking for his first win. In the AWA, it does not happen. Mike Rotundo, at the end of the day, he goes back to what he knows best, and that is wrestling. You see him working the head and the neck of Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, and that's because he knows he's a former All-American from Syracuse University, and this is not by accident. He knows wrestling. And he knows professional wrestling as well, as he just dropped Jimmy Garvin across the top rope, throat first. Garvin is stunned, nearly dead weight. Wait a minute, goes and he blocks the suplex, and now Garvin with one of his own. Mike Rotundo's got to be very careful with that, because Jimmy Garvin could have turned that into his patented brainbuster very quickly, and you're not going to get up if that happens. We've seen Garvin with that brainbuster, and you're right, nobody gets up. Oh, wait a minute. DDT this time. Jimmy Garvin still working that head of Mike Rotundo, and this could be it. Rotundo again back to the amateurs as he gets the fireman's carry on Jimmy Garvin. Garvin blocks the shot, retaliates with a big left hand. And now Jimmy Garvin may be going for it. He's got him. There's the brainbuster, and Rotundo's out. Well, I think it's safe to say Jimmy Garvin is going to be victorious in his debut. He is. You don't get up from the brainbuster, and that's why he is the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So Jimmy Garvin makes his entrance into the AWA with a huge win over Mike Rotundo. We'll take a look back at some of the action in this one. Mike Rotundo had the opportunity here, but he wasn't able to put him away. Here's that DDT that really set up the beginning of the end, and here is the brainbuster. You just don't get up from that. He hooks the leg and gets the count, and it's over. And just like that, we have our winner. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin victorious here in his AWA debut on the Nation Network. Fans, stick around. We still got plenty more action yet to come here on AWA Championship Wrestling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our next match. Members of the Diamond Exchange making their way to the ring. The Playboy Buddy Rose, the Pretty Boy Doug Summers, and they are going to be going up against their newest arch enemies, the Bad Company. Well, the Bad Company really tried to settle some scores here. They were a member or members of the Diamond Exchange just over a year ago. Didn't have the success that they were expecting to have, and Diamond Dallas Page, back in October, cut them loose. Very unceremoniously, by the way, and brought in these two men who have been very successful and have given Diamond Dallas Page the opportunities that he's wanted, and they're very close to the tag team title picture. However, just a few weeks ago, we saw what happened when the Bad Company made their return, attacked these two, and now have derailed their tag team title picture hopes. But it's all going to come to a head in a week's time, because at Wrestle Rock, these two teams will be meeting, and the winners get a shot at the AWA Tag Team Championship. Yeah, no matter what happens tonight, we all know that next week the match will be on. We'll be in Chicago's Windy City, and the question is, who will walk out as the #1 contenders for the AWA Tag Team titles? We take a look at Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka. They are bad company, and noticeable by his absence here at ringside is Diamond Dallas Page. Well, it wouldn't surprise me that Diamond Dallas Page doesn't want to get too close to the bad company right now. Playboy Buddy Rose taking the size and weight advantage, clearly over Pat Tanaka, and using that to his advantage. Irish whip sends him to the turnbuckle, back out front, and now look at this. Tanaka just caught the Playboy in the throat. Playboy Buddy Rose turns the body weight inside and then comes crashing down across the chest of Pat Tanaka. Well, Pat Tanaka, very, very studious wrestler and performer here, and he knows, above all else, how to get this thing done. And now back body drop, and the Playboy Buddy Rose is on the apron. Pat Tanaka goes to his corner, and I believe, yes, he's going to make the tag. Paul Diamond walks right in to the Playboy Buddy Rose, who slams him. Well, again, Playboy Buddy Rose making the same mistake we've seen others make here, and that is it going to taunt, if you would, the crowd here at ringside, trying to get under their skin. He's not worried about making friends, but at the same time, he's missing the opportunity to do more damage to his opponent. Now look at this, Paul Diamond finally getting the opportunity to inflict some punishment of his own. Indeed, Paul Diamond does have Playboy Buddy Rose now in a compromised position following that belly-to-back suplex. Now has him up, cross-knee backbreaker, and the Playboy on the receiving end. Playboy Buddy Rose was laid out, and he's like, I'm not going to have any of that. Paul Diamond now from the top rope. Oh, he caught him coming all the way down with the elbow right to the head, and Playboy Buddy Rose is in trouble. Clothesline now on the floor. We've already seen one match end in a countout. That wasn't a match, no, that was a war. There's a difference. Indeed it was. Into the guardrail he goes. Head first, he rang the bell with it. Playboy Buddy Rose and Paul Diamond battling it out here in the aisle. These two teams have split victories. Tag is made, but I don't think Buddy Rose is going to beat the count. He's not. It is a count-out win. And just like that, Bad Company climbs up in the win-loss category when it comes to the feud between themselves and the Diamond Exchange. Well, you know, a lot of people tell you that their first victory was because they had the element of surprise and it wasn't even a scheduled match. It was just something that began. The second time around, they came up on the short end of the stick, and now this. What's it going to be like in Chicago, folks? I don't know, but I know one thing. I'm not going to miss it. Nor will I. Fans, stay with us. We've got plenty more action coming your way.
wrestling fans. This Sunday, next coming Sunday, it's gonna be Wrestle Rock. The AWA World Champion will defend the title. The AWA World Tag Team titles will be decided. #1 contenders will be crowned, and much more. Next week, right here on the Nation Network, Wrestle Rock.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mean Scheme here in the locker room, and joining me at this time, he is the reigning AWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Nick Bockwinkel. I beg your pardon. And tonight, Nick Bockwinkel, we have to talk to you about the obvious, and that is Wrestle Rock. Who will you be defending that title against? Well, as you know, I am the heavyweight champion here in the AWA, and nobody can beat me. I am by far the most educated man there is in wrestling today, and I am willing to take on anyone who wants to step in the ring with me. It doesn't matter who. What matters is they're not going to be victorious. See, I'm a member of the Heenan family, and as the Heenan family goes, we are the best. So you're telling me you don't know who your opponent's going to be? I don't know, and I don't care. Come into Chicago and then face Nick Bockwinkel and see what happens. All right, fans, that's it. Nick Bockwinkel doesn't know who he's defending the title against. All right, fans, well, we just heard it right there. Nick Bockwinkel will be defending the world title at Wrestle Rock, but against who, we don't know. Well, one thing we do know is that Hulk Hogan is here, and he is going to have his hands full against the man who he has been going back and forth with for quite some time now, Stan the Lariat Hansen. Yeah, these two men definitely no strangers to one another, and no scores have been settled in this one yet. Fans, we remind you, much of the content you see here on the Nation Network can be found on the PlayStation 4 version of WWE 2K18 in the Communities tab. Simply do a search for hashtag #OneNation. That's the number 1 and the word nation. All right, now we're going to get a look at the big Texan, Stan Lariat Hansen. This is a guy that I don't know too many people that look forward to getting in the ring with him, but Hulk Hogan may be one of the few. The Lariat making his way towards the ringside area, and the fans know they're in to see something special here tonight. When you talk about monster trucks, look at these two guys. Stan Lariat Hansen now entering the ring, and Hogan giving him a little bit of space. Perhaps that is a sign of mutual respect. Well, there's no doubt both of these men have respect for one another. They may not like one another, but they definitely respect each other. Bell sounds, action's underway, and right in the middle of the ring, it begins. Stan Lariat Hansen taking Hogan down, and now let's see where we go from here. That big Texas elbow right to the back of the neck of Hulk Hogan. Well, Stan Lariat Hansen right now using that Texas toughness against Hulk Hogan and doing a great job with it. Now Hulk Hogan has been on the receiving end of the majority of the damage here. Now manages to get back up to his feet. He's got Stan Hansen up. Hansen using those elbows again to break out of the hold. German suplex, and Hogan sent crashing to the mat. Fans, a big question to be answered right here on the Nation Network. In 24 hours, we will know which organization is filling in for the World Class Championship Wrestling. We heard the State of the Nation address by Vince McMahon himself a week ago. All the mysteries will be solved in 24 hours here on the Nation Network. Well, you know, there's a great deal of speculating going on. I've got my own ideas as well, but it's been one of the best kept secrets thus far here in the history of the nation. No doubt about it, because I can tell you right now, I've had my feelers out, and I am no closer to knowing than I was a week ago. Hulk Hogan with a big headbutt down. Stan Hansen is in trouble. Again with a headbutt, and Hogan getting some results with that. Indeed he is. Stan Lariat Hansen, he's used to having fights with cowbells and things like that, but Hulk Hogan with that headbutt has really left Hansen a bit dazed. Fans, we have just been told that when the Cobra Corps head into Chicago next week, they will be taking on all 3 members, once again, of the Allied Powers, and it'll be a boot camp match. Well, boot camp match. Well, that means there is absolutely no rules whatsoever. Anything goes, anywhere goes, and that is going to be a match we won't want to miss. That's going to be an incredible match. Nothing was settled between them here tonight. We'll see if they can't do it in Chicago. The Lariat hits with the Lariat, and Hogan is down for 2. Very, very close, and you look at the look on the face Oh, Stan Hansen, he can't believe it. Nobody kicks out of his lariat, but Hulk Hogan just did. Once again, Stan the Lariat Hansen taking advantage of the situation. He's got Hogan in trouble. Deadlifts him from the mat. Gut wrench suplex. What a show of strength by Stan Hansen. Caught him with another one of those lariat clotheslines, and Hogan's in trouble. Referee counting. 3, and it's over. Stan the Lariat Hansen with a huge victory over Hulk Hogan. You can call it upset if you want, but it really isn't. Stan the Lariat Hansen, one of the most accomplished wrestlers both in North America and overseas. He's as tough as they come, and he has just made a name for himself. And if I recall correctly, I heard Nick Bockwinkel say he'll take on anybody. You have to wonder if the name on the contract might not be Stan the Lariat Hansen. He has definitely made a case for himself with a win here tonight. Fans will be back with more right after this.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. They generate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. You think you can tell me what to do? You know who you're talking to?
All right, fans, we are back, and it is time for our final event of the evening. It is going to be a tag team matchup. We heard earlier tonight from the world champion, and now we're going to get an opportunity to see him in action, albeit tag team action. It's been a tremendous night of wrestling here in the AWA, as it always is. Fans still buzzing about that last match as we get a look at Nick Bockwinkel. He is the reigning AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Issuing an open challenge, however, for next week as part of Wrestle Rock. That takes a certain level of commitment, I would think. No doubt about it. You have to have commitment. You also have to have confidence, and I don't think Nick Bockwinkel lacks confidence. Well, he's also got great wrestling talent and ability to back it up, as well as he is being escorted to the ring by Bobby the Brain Heenan. Well, there are those that would refer to him as the Weasel Heenan, but I'll digress. He absolutely hates it when people call him Weasel. He does not like them referring to him as Weasel. There he is, the world champion. Since taking that title from Rick Martel, Nick Bockwinkel has been very cautious in how he's defended it, but now, by complete contrast, going into Wrestle Rock not knowing his opponent. Well, we just saw Standard Hansen come off with a huge victory over Hulk Hogan, and it has to make you wonder, could somebody like Stan Hansen be standing across from Jerry Lawler? Here comes his tag team partner, Ray the Crippler Stevens. This is a man who lives up to his name every chance he gets. We have seen what he has done to some of the biggest names in the sports world with that pile driver of his. Indeed, crippling. Together they are members of the Heenan family, and together they are a destructive force. Along with Ken Patera, who is not here right now for this match. Jake the Milkman Milliman getting the champion up and driving him down. Congratulations, Jake. Well, he may have had a good moment, but he may be paying for it for the remainder of the match. Irish whip sends him to the ropes, and now knee right to the midsection, and the Milkman is being delivered. Nice move right there by Milliman, taking out the legs of the champion and going to stretch out the knee. Now, you talk about what happens next week. Well, what happens next week starts right now, because realistically, if he were somehow to suffer an injury, Nick Bockwinkel, that could be a problem a week from now while the title's on the line. And at this point, there's no backing out of that match. He signed a contract. He just doesn't know who he's fighting. Well, I've got to tell you, as a champion, I don't think that's a smart move to make. And as a manager, I cannot believe Bobby the Brain Heenan allowed him to do such a thing. It's one thing to have confidence, nothing to be prepared. Ray the Crippler Stevens now reversing the would-be suplex on Lou Fabiano. Big shot to the midsection, and a knee to the midsection to follow it up, and now Ray Stevens, Irish whip, sends Fabiano into the corner. Ray the Crippler Stevens, Nick Bockwinkel, together these two men are absolute forces to be dealt with. The double back body drop right there, just a sign. Tag is made, now the Milkman is in, and down he goes. Nick Bockwinkel wasting no time, sending him back to the floor, and again a knee right to the midsection. Jake Milkman Milliman, I can't speak tonight, come charging in like a house on fire, but Nick Bockwinkel has everything it takes to put that fire out. Side headlock wraps him up, as Bockwinkel continues to give him a receipt from the opening moments of the match. Oh, now look at this. Nick Bockwinkel using the bottom rope to work the knee and the ankle of Jake. Well, the Milkman is in trouble right now, no doubt about that. He is really, really suffering a lot of pain, and Nick Bockwinkel not going to let him off the hook, not for a moment. Big shot to the midsection, and now Nick Bockwinkel choking him in the corner. Referee trying to regain order. Good luck with that one. He breaks just in time to avoid the disqualification. Jake Milliman trying to make the tag to Fabiano, but that's not happening. Drop kick by the champion. Well, Nick Bockwinkel knows he is in charge right now. He sets him up. Taking a page out of the book of Ray the Crippler Stevens. Bockwinkel now getting ready to go for the sleeper hold, and Fabiano's out. There will be no save made by Fabiano. It's over. Well, he sent that sleeper hold deep in, did Nick Bockwinkel, and you're right. There is no getting out of it when that happens. Fans, we take a look back at some of the moments from this one. The double team right here he goes. Back body drop sent him way up into the lights. Well, that pile driver was the beginning of the end for Jake the Milkman Milliman, but there it is. The sleeper hold cinched up by the champion, and whoever he faces next week, if they fall into that hold, it will be lights out. Fans, we take a look right now at the winners. Nick Bockwinkel, Ray the Crippler Stevens, and a very happy Bobby the Brain Heenan. Fans, 1 week from tonight, we will see you in Chicago for Wrestle Rock. Have a great night, everyone. So long from ringside.